to start with a simple question. Have you ever chosen a product because it said eco-friendly or sustainable on the label? Maybe you bought a reusable cup or shirts made from recycled materials. If yes, then you have already experienced the idea behind ESG, even you didn't realize it. In the past, companies only care about the profit, but today our world is facing new problems, like climate change, pollution, and unfair working conditions. People are asking companies to do more. They expect them to take responsibility, to care about planet, about people, about whole communities. That's what ESG is all about. So today, I would like to share an introduction of ESG. Here's what we'll cover. What is ESG? Why ESG is important, and that's what how ESG shapes the future. Let's get started. Each letter in ESG stands for a different meaning. The letter E means environment, S, social, G, governance. These three ideas shows how companies can act responsibly and sustainably. So right now, let's start with the first letter E, environment. Environment is about protecting our planet, like reducing carbon emissions, saving energy, managing waste in a proper way. A clean example is Tesla, which built electric cars to replace gasoline vehicles, which can help reducing air pollution and supporting the goal of net zero emissions by 2050. But what is that? What is net zero emissions by 2050? Actually, it's a key goal in environmental sustainability. This concept was first introduced in the 2015 Paris Agreement and adopted by 195 countries. It means the countries and the companies should balance the amount of greenhouse gases they produce with the amount they remove by 2050. It is directly related to environment because greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide can cause serious global warming. Achieving net zero emissions by 2050 can help governments and business fight climate change and reduce air pollution. Next, the letter S is social. Social focuses on people, how companies treat workers, consumers, and communities. These things include fair pay, safe workplace, equal opportunities, and supporting charity to give back to society. When companies treat people well, they earn stronger and more loyal relationships. The next letter, G, governance. Governance is about leadership and transparency, how decisions are made, whether the companies follow laws, and how they report information. Good governance ensures that companies take responsibility for their actions, making decisions not just benefit for companies, but also for employees, consumers, and whole communities. So next time you see ESG, remember it's not just about environment, it's also about caring for people and running a company responsibly. Now that we all understand what ESG is, you might wonder why companies should follow ESG. Don't worry, because right now I'm going to explain the importance of ESG and you will understand why. The first one, ESG supports global climate goals. As I just mentioned, the European Union has a goal of net zero emission by 2050, which means every member country should move toward cleaner energy and lower emissions. It is pushing companies to rethink how they produce products and how they transport materials. The second one is about transparency and accountability. Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive (CSRD) is also a law from European Union. It requires companies must publicly report how their actions affect environment and society, which means that companies cannot hire polluted practice or air pollution anymore, because the investors and the consumers can see those reports and decide whether they want to invest or support these companies or not. So after all, ESG matters for two key reasons. The first one is supports global climate goals. The second one, it makes companies more transparent and responsible. Now let's move on our last part. How ESG shapes future. The first one is about consumers' behavior. Their behavior changing fast. Many young people today prefer sustainable brands and are more willing to spend a little more money on it. A Deloitte 2025 Gen Z and Millennial survey shows that younger generations are more concerned about environmental protection than the older generations. So let's focus on the chart. 67% of Gen Z and 71% of millennials think that climate should be top priority to ensure sustainable planets for future generations. However, the older generations only have about 60% of agreement on this statement. This shows how this new value system has become. In the future, people will have more environmental consciousness. The second one is investors are also paying attention. Many investment funds and banks are now prioritizing ESG-focused companies because they think those companies are more reliable and future-ready. However, those companies which ignore ESG will lose financial and public support. The next one is government even pushing harder. The European Green Deal and other similar ESG policies are now encourage cleaner energy, better labor standards, and fairer markets. It improves the way how companies plan strategy and report the progress. So, in the future, ESG will not be just a moral choice. It will simply be a normal way that all successful companies operate, balancing profit with responsibility. To conclude, ESG, each letter in ESG stands for a different meaning. E is environment, S, social, G, governance. And these three ideas shows how companies can act responsibly and sustainably. Next, its importance because the first one, it supports global climate goals like net zero emissions by 2050. The second one, it enforces transparency and CSRD, Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive. And the next one, we help companies build trust among investors and consumers. In the future, global is shaping business, and ESG is shaping business globally. Consumers and investors, governments are all given responsibility. With the government creates new law to ensure companies act sustainably. So next time when you see eco-friendly on the label, remember it's not just marketing. It's a small part of a much bigger global movement. ESG is shaping how we live, work, and build our shared future. Thank you.